Welcome to the Ringer NFL show. I'm Sheil Kapadia. Today we present to you the Rebuildables. We have teams that are clearly looking ahead to next season and beyond. The Jets with the trades they made this week. The Dolphins firing GM Chris Grier. The Browns doing whatever the Browns are doing. So now what? That's the question. Now what for these teams? How do they break the cycle of losing and find a path to success? To help figure that out, we have our old friend now with ESPN, Ben Solak. We got into it like we used to. I suggested a trade. He said no way. We break it all down for those three teams when we come back. This is the Ringer NFL show presented by FanDuel, the best place to bet the NFL all season long. FanDuel's got it all. Same game parlays, quick bets for jumping in live, and your way so you can build the bet that fits your play. And Missouri, get excited because FanDuel's coming your way December 1st. Download the FanDuel.com/Ringer NFL to get started. Must be 21 plus and present in select states and 18 plus in DC, Kentucky, and Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. All right, we are back here on the Ringer NFL show, welcoming in our old friend. And so, I have to say, it's nice to see you. The hair looks good. The shirt looks good. I feel like the last video I saw you on,
oh my God,
you were wearing pajamas. And I really, as I was a bad friend because I should have texted to make sure you were okay.
I had no, I didn't even think that it would appear like I was wearing a bathrobe at all. And I still am surprised that was the case. I've had that flannel for forever. I guarantee you, if we look back at other social clips for NFL, I've worn that flannel on the social clips. So whatever the angle, the bedhead, whatever it was, yeah, I'm now a guy who does bathrobe film analysis. Tough one for me.
I tell people you got to differentiate your product somehow. I thought that's just what you were doing. Yeah. I thought it was a good content play for you. All right, let's do it. The Rebuildables, that's what we're talking about. These teams whose seasons are over, who are looking ahead. What do they do now? Because their fan bases want to know, how are we going to get out of this? And we got to start with Mama Solak's team. The New York Jets, in the news, obviously, traded Sauce Gardner, traded Quinnen Williams, now have 5 first-round picks over the next 2 seasons. And they've got Dallas's second-round pick this season. So 4 picks in the first 2 rounds this season and 3 first-rounders in 2027. It's nice to have a lot of draft picks, Solak, but as Jets fans know, you can get the draft picks. It's what you do with the draft picks. So what's your idea for the Jets to get out of this and build this the right way, where maybe a couple of years from now we're saying, oh, that actually did pay off?
Yeah, so I think that the first box to check is your quarterback box. They have Fields on a 2-year deal. And obviously, after the Broncos game, everybody was like, this Fields contract is the worst thing to ever exist. How could they possibly do this? Yada, yada, so on and so forth. They have the second year of team control. And I think that the fact that they're accumulating 2027 picks as much as they're accumulating 2026 picks indicates to me that they don't want to have to push a quarterback move this offseason if they don't want to. Now, people are milquetoast on the lukewarm on the 2026 quarterback class. I think it's better than people realize. We never actually know these things, right? Have you seen all the the 2027 draft is going to be historic, so that's why the Jets get those picks? Dude, we could all be dead by 2027, as Kyle Shanahan would say. To me, that's not so much the case, so much as they're just accumulating capital.
I was thinking a couple things here, Solak, and one of them is this: Tanner McKee. Because I was trying to look at backups, and say, is there a backup there? I know you probably like Spencer Rattler maybe a little bit more than I do, but because the one issue with Fields, and I agree with you, if you look at it overall, it hasn't been as horrible as it's felt some of these weeks. I think he's 19th in drop back success rate, which if you looked at that before the season, you would have said, I would sign up for that. I think the issue is sometimes with Fields, you just get a hard time evaluating the rest of your roster and the coach with some of the way he plays. It's not just operate the offense and the ball's always going to go where it's supposed to go. So would you look into a move like that, kind of scour, hey, let's look at some of these guys who might be available for not too much and then still do that quarterback plan where you're drafting another guy?
Yeah, I think about where the Seahawks were when they had Geno and then when they got Drew Lock as part of the Russell Wilson trade. And it was kind of all right, in our post Russell Wilson life, you're going to give Geno a shot. We're also going to give this other quarterback a shot. And if the chips don't fall nicely, eventually we're going to have to go draft the guy early. But you do the same thing where you say, all right, like even if they end up drafting an early quarterback, you still want to be in the very much the Howie Roseman spirit of things, just taking shots at QB2 and QB3 and then seeing if you get lucky on one of those. You brought up McKee, Spencer Rattler, I think that is a very legitimate one. Like if they're the Anthony Richardson team in trade
why was he not
April,
thrown into this trade, Solak?
I think because they're doing more at the wide receiver spot. I also don't think the Colts want to trade him. I really don't. I think
really?
Yeah, because I think that Ballard is still very like, like this, like, I don't think they want to punt on their Anthony Richardson investment just yet. I think they want to wait until like an opportunity to get like a bigger return out of that. The Jets do desperately need receivers, right? Like, and Adonai Mitchell is not the paragon of consistency, but like at least he's not Alan Lazard and Arian Smith, who just like the Jets receiver player is so bad right now. I agree with you though. Like I didn't think about it, but he would have been fun if it was like a first, a mid-round pick and Richardson for Sauce. That would have been really spicy for content. Yeah.
The ownership is the biggest issue with the team. I mean, when you have a 10-year stretch with Woody Johnson where you've won 30% of your games over 10 years, worst in the NFL, it's going to be ownership. And he's a disaster and he has no self-awareness. Every time he opens his mouth, you're like, what is he doing here? And for that reason, there's no real reason to believe the Jets can do anything right as long as he owns the team. But at least you have some capital here and the cupboard's not bare. Like I look at it, you have 2 offensive tackles who it looks like they can play, 2 young offensive tackles on rookie contracts. You've got Garrett Wilson at 1 wide receiver spot. You might have a running back. We'll see what they do with Breece Hall. You drafted Mason Taylor. So it's not like they don't have any players. And I feel like they do have to make a commitment to building up the offense because the point of having draft picks is to draft players like Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams, and you traded those guys. So now if you're just trying to draft like the next Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams, I don't like that plan because those guys are hard to find. And then where does it actually leave you? So I think they need to have some vision, which I don't know that they have, to be like, we need to figure out this offense, have a quarterback plan. And when that quarterback gets in there, put them in position to succeed with the pieces around them. And I wonder if that's going to be the case or not. I mean, the Aaron Glenn thing makes me a little like, I'm a little uneasy about what's happened there. Anytime there's a new coach and all of a sudden the best players are gone and like even Quincy Williams today, it was announced, he's like,
see this? Yeah.
I got benched. I'm like, what's going on there with this team?
Jeremy Fowler reported for us that Quincy Williams was initially like included in the Quinnen Williams trade. Like the Cowboys were going to trade for both of them.
Oh, I didn't see that.
And then that fell through. And that's why the Cowboys went and got Logan Wilson instead because they still wanted to get a linebacker. So, okay, wait. You were thinking about trading the guy. You couldn't get value out of him. So now you're benching him. That clearly his value was at peak 3 days ago when they didn't think you were going to bench him. Now that he's benched, like, what are you going to get for him next year? So that sort of a move. The Breece Hall thing, I waffle on because just because Breece Hall is tweeting doesn't mean they should move on from Breece Hall. Like if they transition tag Breece Hall next year or maybe even franchise tag him, like to me, that is not offensive. They have the money to do so. They clearly want to be a team that runs the football well, independent of if Fields the quarterback or not. Like that's always going to be Aaron Glenn sort of thing. And so like, it doesn't worry me too much. But yeah, like if you're at the point where Quinnen was basically just like, yeah, I'm so sick and tired of losing. Please trade me. You're benching Quincy, but you didn't trade him. And one of the guys you kept is like, dear God, I wish I was gone. Jermaine Johnson. Do you see Jermaine Johnson's tweet? He was like, I'm sad to see my brothers go, but we're going to rally. Like very clearly in response to Breece Hall being pissed. Like you got to rally this room, man. This is worrisome stuff.
Next team here, the Miami Dolphins. They fired Chris Grier. He was there for 10 years. I never thought we'd live to do a podcast where they actually fired Chris Grier. I thought
mutually parted ways with Chris Grier.
Sorry.
Please, they mutually parted ways. Be respectful.
Mutually parted ways. I assume Mike McDaniel is gone after the season, but I wouldn't say I'm like 100% that he's going to be gone after the season. This is a tough one because they've got the Tua contract. They don't have a lot of talent. So like, what is your plan for rebuilding the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah, so there's a Mike McDaniel path. There's a not Mike McDaniel path, right? Because I agree with you that I'm not 100% sold that they fire Mike McDaniel at the end of this year. If they don't, it's really important to pair Mike with a personnel guy who's got a much stronger hand on the wheel than Mike did, because McDaniel really, like, the gamer term is min-max. I don't know if you know what that means, but he very much went over the cliff with this roster where they went so far in on like the speed identity and the spacing, the RPO identity that just they have absolutely no counterpunch. They have no second pitch, right? The moment you stop them at what they're good at, they cannot become physical. They cannot, They have no like post-up ball winners at wide receiver. Like they're all in on just this one offensive identity that is centered around Tua. So you'd like for Mike to get a personnel guy that's like, no, actually, we're going to get like a guard, like a large one, and then we're going to get a second one, right? They finally got like one big guard this year in the Arizona rookie, Jonas Savaiinaea. If they keep Mike, to me, they're a great Kyler team, assuming that Kyler gets dealt or somehow moved in the upcoming offseason.
I wrote down the same thing.
Of course they are. Yeah.
All right. So I wrote down, is there a Tua for Kyler? Change of scenery.
Ew.
I don't want this quarterback. You don't want that. What does that look like? The Dolphins, I would imagine, if they're trading Tua, let's say in this trade to the Cardinals, and the Cardinals trade Kyler Murray to the Dolphins are including what in that trade?
A decent, like a large amount of, like, not Stafford Goff level of return, but like a decent amount, because you're also trading the contract, right? Like Kyler's, right. I don't have the exact numbers, and it's complex, and I'm sure they would do cap machinations to change it. But the Tua contract is a very tough pill to swallow for the Dolphins sending, and then also for the team that's still acquiring it. Like it's a big dead cap hit for Miami, and so you probably have to include something, or you have to find a way to make the money work, and the Cardinals take on more money, and you have to send them a pick in response. Like that's a tough sell. To me, like the Kyler acquisition, I think of like as different from the Tua acquisition. I wouldn't be surprised if they're like Kyler QB1, Tua QB2, because it's just so hard to move on from Tua in 2026.
No, it's got to be both though, because the Cardinals are going to need a quarterback.
They got Jacoby. Don't worry about it.
They're sticking with Jacoby Brissett, and I feel like I'm not taking both those contracts. Are you crazy? I don't want Tua and Kyler on my books. I think this can work. A Tua for Kyler, and let's think about what the Dolphins throw in. I don't think it's a first. I think it's maybe a second.
Yeah, second was the first thought that came to my mind.
Second and something else.
My instinct said like Tua and a second. But even then, like if I'm the Cardinals, I have to pretend that Tua is a guy I can build around. It's many of the same problems as Kyler, just like 10 times worse. And also I'm not actually saving that much money in the exchange. Like I don't know if a 2 is enough.
But also he has guarantees through 2026. So it's not as long-term for the Cardinals as you might think. Like they could just, take him for a year and then figure out what they want to do after that. So you're paying him a lot of money, but they're clearly, the news today that Kyler Murray's on injured reserve. I don't know. How do you read that? Is this soft benching? Is this full benching? Has he played his last game for the Cardinals? Is this just like, this is going to be a chip that's traded in the offseason?
I need your take on the introduction of the term soft benching into the NFL lexicon in 2025.
You're right. I'm disgusted by myself that I even
believe you said it. Yeah, I'm stunned that you're allowing it. Yeah.
All right. We don't edit much here, but if I were going to edit something, not soft bench. It was a benching. You know what? You know how you know it is? Because if you listen to the broadcast with Aikman and Buck, and then you're listening to clearly the Cardinals are telling people that no, like we would not go back to Kyler Murray here. We like how it's going with Jacoby Brissett, and it just hasn't worked. They've tried it and it hasn't worked. This is year 3 with Gannon. So yeah, I think he is the big quarterback chip to be moved in the offseason. And I think we're onto something. Has anyone suggested this elsewhere? Can we claim credit when this happens?
I haven't seen it suggested, but from a skill set perspective, Kyler can do a lot of what McDaniel wants him to do. He also will not be able to do some of the Tua stuff because Kyler will hold on to a football and choose to scramble instead. So it'll honestly probably be chalked regardless. But Kyler was definitely benched. Kyler definitely is still like one of the 24 best quarterbacks in football. He needs a skill set that's a scheme that's very catered to his skill set. I don't know where he's going to find that short of like Cliff Kingsbury, short of, some of the college style offenses. And so it's hard to find him a landing spot, but McDaniel feels like one of the guys with like the super fast release time and the RPO, the pop gun accuracy. Like that does feel like something that can kind of fit him. So if McDaniel stays, to me, they're a really good Kyler team. If you move on from McDaniel, firstly, I'm so worried they're going to swing back too far the other way, right? Like they had Brian Flores, just like hard-nosed defensive guy who hated his quarterback and no one likes playing for him. And then they went to Mike McDaniel, who was like, man, isn't football fun? And they have like no culture and like no leadership and like they're a ton of, so they're going to go and just, they're going to like promote Vic Fangio to head coach. They're not going to do that, obviously, but like that sort of character and swing the other direction. So who knows? But the thing is, like, offensively, this is the sort of roster that's really, really, really in need of a teardown and a rebuild, right? Like, okay, you chose to keep Jalen Waddle. Great. Jalen Waddle is a very good wide receiver too, who needs to be paired with a guy who can actually be like a 3-level threat who can win with physicality. You have to invest there. Devon Achane, right? Like, pound for pound, such a tough player, an impressive tackle breaker for his size. but there are going to be offenses that will not work with a running back that small. Like they will need to be by committee. And so the tricky thing is figuring out what sort of offensive philosophy you want to have under the new head coach. And then how do those current skill position players fit into that philosophy, right? The offensive line, the lightest offensive line in football, and needs to be an offensive line with like pulling and screens and zones. Like you cannot, go hire Dan Campbell, right? It's not going to be available, but go hire Dan Campbell and plug him in. They would have to retool the entire offensive line because you can't be what that coach wants to be with the way that offense is built. And so the Dolphins are a clear, like, not Jets level teardown, but it's going to take a year reload, get rid of the Tyree contract, get rid of the Tua contract to reimagine this offense and go from there.
Stephen Ross, if you move on from Mike McDaniel, listen to me. You need to find a coach and GM, lock them in the room, have them sign their contracts at the exact same time, and tell them, if I fire one of you, I'm firing both of you. If it succeeds for one of you, it succeeds for both of you, because just their setup has been a disaster for a long time there, where that has not been the case. So there will be collaboration. Point to one guy. You have the final say. If you're not on the same page, this person makes the final decision. They will have the responsibility for better or worse. Does everyone agree with that? Okay, you may now sign your contracts. I think that has to be what they do. Find a GM and a coach, attach them at the hip, and then because it's not going to be easy. This is not just to make one move and you're contending in the freaking AFC. No, this is going to take some patience, some creativity, and I think that's what they do if they move on from Mike McDaniel. If they keep Mike McDaniel, we already solved it for you guys. The little weird trade there. Kyler Murray probably won't work, but you know what? It'll be fun. It'll buy you a couple more years. All right, let's take a break. We come back. We got one more team to get to. The Ringer NFL show is brought to you by FanDuel. Thursday Night Football continues to deliver, and FanDuel's keeping the energy up with their $2 million Thursday Night Football jackpot. Place an anytime touchdown scorer bet using your profit boost, and if your player scores the first or last touchdown of the game, you'll earn a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Head to FanDuel.com/RingerNFL to download the app and get started. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 plus and present in select states, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt in. Must apply profit boost token on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last TD pick. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. All right, we are back on the Ringer NFL show. Last team we wanted to talk about in the Rebuildables, the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to start this one. So they have to trade Myles Garrett, and I believe they are going to trade Myles Garrett in the offseason. It's their only way to get... It's their only way to get...
You said like it was a thing that is a thing.
I absolutely think they're going to trade Myles Garrett in the offseason. If you read between the lines, he is 31 years old next season. They have no chance to win next season. So now you're talking about his age 32 season, when if 100 different things go right, maybe you have a chance to win. I don't think that's going to happen either. You saw the draft capital traded for guys like Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams and Micah Parsons. You can trade Myles Garrett, and I have a trade for you. And it's a player.
You're contract-wise, you're more right than I thought you'd be.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. His 2026 option bonus, which guarantees, is in the 15th league day of 2026. They would have 15 days between the opening of league year to trade him in March. It's more possible than I believed.
Okay. Here's the trade. Ready? I'm calling my shot. Myles Garrett to your Philadelphia Eagles for two firsts and Tanner McKee. Who says no to that?
The Browns should say no to that in a heartbeat.
Why?
Because
he's first and Tanner McKee for a 31-year-old?
Myles Garrett, Sheil.
Okay. What else you want in there? A third? What are you saying yes to?
3 firsts.
And Tanner McKee, or you don't want Tanner McKee? They need a quarterback.
I love Tanner
nobody.
McKee. This is actually very funny because if you started with me on the Browns, I would have said it's obvious. Start Shador. I was going to do like a Shador bit. Like, they have a quarterback. He's on the depth chart. I agree they need a quarterback. As the leader of ridiculous Tanner McKee hype tweets, we can't say they need a quarterback, so obviously trade Myles Garrett as part of the Tanner McKee package. It's Tanner McKee. Like,
it's in addition to 2 first-round picks.
Right, but the moment you play Tanner McKee for 4 games and it turns out he tops out at Davis Mills, you just traded Miles
that's
Garrett.
disrespectful. You're not trading for you just need another dart throw. Tanner McKee is not your long-term answer.
Okay,
you get the
go
two
get another
first.
dart throw. Don't trade Miles Garrett for a dart throw.
Who else do you have that you're going to get first-round picks for?
Just sit there and be bad again and then draft first-round picks early. Yes.
Absurd. Do you realize their entire offensive line is not under contract for next season?
Yes, I do, which is hilarious and terrible.
Who on this team do you like on offense? They literally have 0 players on off. They have Quinshon Judkins.
This is Harold Fannin Jr.
Harold Fannin Jr. They have 2 players, a running
Cedric
back
Tillman
and a tight end. They have nobody else. You need to get draft capital. Miles Garrett doesn't want to be there. He's going to be, come on. We've seen this.
DeJuan Jones is under contract for another year, isn't he?
All right. Whatever.
Yeah. That's your left tackle, Sheil.
Blame wherever I read it. Whoever, sorry. Someone wrote it, okay? I don't know. Maybe it was just the players who are playing. I don't know. They have a bunch of offensive linemen who are not under contract.
No,
at least their whole interior is not under
Jones,
contract.
who is injured, is under until 2026, baby. Jack Conklin, all right, also signed through 2027. However, he could probably be a cap casualty, though he has void years. So probably
their interior offense, the 3 starters on the interior
guard are all. Yeah. Listen.
So what's your plan? What is your actual plan? Because you're holding on to Miles Garrett.
I've always said offensive line, small offensive line. Okay, it's a very overrated position. Don't worry about these things. You are in a spot with Cleveland where if you can get an offense that controls the football, that runs the football well, you can win on the back of your defense and you can insulate a young quarterback. So to me, bringing up that offensive line, the position I would want to invest in would be that spot. I would want to, if I make a head coaching change, go do the Clayton Adams thing, right? Go do the Clint Kubiak thing, where I'm bringing in a guy who's really, really good in terms of running game designs, and then running offenses that don't need the quarterback to be a dominant player. Clayton Adams.
Is there a contract that every other podcaster has signed with Clayton Adams that he needs to get a mention on every episode? Because I'm the only one. I did not get this. For those who don't know who he is, because you're a normal person.
I was legitimately about to start explaining. I was literally going to say he was the run game coordinator of the Cardinals 2 years ago. Cut me off. So I agree with you, because I was pushing my strollers and getting in the summer, getting ready for the season, and Clayton Adams asked that I refused to do any Clayton Adams pre-season hype. So I was like, I don't know enough about the guy. But you don't like the Cowboys offense?
I do.
You don't like Javonte Williams?
Nice.
Exactly. Yeah. So to me, he's been a guy who stood out. Clint Kubiak, I think, has obviously got a Kevin Stefanski connection, and so you're kind of staying in the same offensive family. Maybe you want to go a different route. But again, the ability to generate a pass game through scheme and not necessarily need to have a dominant quarterback or dominant receiver play to do so. And then you went on the back of this defense, right? This defense, you could go 500 with this defense if your offense just get out of the way, not turn the football over and win the field position battle. With Quinshon Judkins, you have a talented running back. I would want to invest in the offensive line and see if I can win some stinky, grimy, churn out in the mud football games next year, and let that be enough for Cleveland Browns football for the time being as you continue to recover from cap hell. Remember, talking about contracts they still have on their books, they still have to get out of the Deshaun Watson deal. They are not yet out of it. And so there's still, cap pills to come swallow.
And who is your quarterback in this let's win ugly and win 7 games and this is going to be a fun year because our defense is good? Who's playing quarterback?
Firstly, I don't appreciate your tone. No, I think that you can go there's Russell Wilson who's available. There's Mark Mariota who's available. There's Tyrod Taylor who's available. There's Joe Flacco who's available.
That is the last thing they should be doing. I love Miles Garrett as much as you do, but this is your last chance to trade him for a lot of draft picks. When he's 32 years old, the price is only going to go down from here. Now's the time. He's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year this season. Teams are going to want him. There's contending teams that will pay up. Get that bidding war going. Get yourself some draft capital and rebuild it the right way. It's your only shot to take flyers on some quarterbacks here. What if I throw in A.J. Brown? Tanner McKee, A.J. Brown, a first and a second. You're saying no to that?
Was yesterday's trade deadline not enough for you?
No,
that you need to trade
I'm so
Miles
excited. I want more.
A.J. Brown? I can't believe how just plainly you said, this is obviously the offseason to do it. Listen, I think that your read on if you read between the lines, there's a chance to trade Miles Garrett this offseason. I think that's a good read, right? I think that definitely Miles is clearly pissed off that things are not going the way that he hoped they would go, and there's a chance he makes a bunch of noise again. I just simply that you write down a list of 10 players who are the best players in football, and you say, I'll never be the GM who trades these players away. Micah Parsons would have been on that list for me. Miles Garrett's on that list for me. We're obviously, yes, if a team wants to send me their entire future, then we're going to talk about it and enter the new era of Browns football. But like when you say, 2 firsts and Tanner McKee, like I'm the guy who then traded Myles Garrett for Tanner McKee. I just can't do it. Like it's too preposterous of a proposition.
All right. Enjoy your team that, by the way, is 5-20 in their last 25 games. Enjoy it. But you're not the guy who traded Myles Garrett. So at least you're not that. You're just the guy who's lost 20 of 25 games. That's all. That's much better.
Absolutely. And you know what?
Myles. Listen, I don't know that that's the exact price. I'm with you. Maybe it's more. Maybe it is 3 first-round picks. And I just know that there is a price that someone will pay that I will say, all right, that's good enough for me. I've got 2 first-round picks next year because the Jaguars made that trade with me. And now I can actually try to rebuild a team after making the worst decisions in NFL history with Deshaun Watson. So there you go.
90. I'm doing quick math. The contract that you would have Garrett on, if you acquired him, Sheil, like his base salaries for the next 3 years, 26, 27, and 28, are 1.3, 1.3, and $1.4 million. All right.
Okay, there you go. I just threw in an extra first because you told me.
Right. Now there's big option bonuses, so slow down, right? So there's a $29 million option bonus, a $40 million options bonus in 2027. So these basically get paid out as signing bonuses, they get prorated. But you're talking about having Myles Garrett at a cap hit below $20 million for like 3 subsequent seasons. That's automatically the greatest contract in football history. Like it's 5 first-round picks.
I mean, the truth is you might just have to rip that contract up and make him the highest paid defensive player in football. But you know what? I'm good with that too. He's Myles Garrett. So there you go. He's Ben Solak. Always fun talking football with him. You can check out all of his work at ESPN. We'll do more of these rebuildables in the future. That was fun. There's some other teams here that we got to come up with plans for. Maybe we just have Solak back like once a month, once every 2 weeks, and we just knock out our plans for these other teams.
I'll need to prepare differently because I didn't know that we were potentially moving franchise cornerstone first generation Hall of Famers. There
you go. All right. Thank you to Solak. I'll be right back with the Hurry Up. The Hurry Up is presented by State Farm. Don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm. We got a game Thursday night. It's on to week 10. The Broncos host the Raiders. Denver is in a nice spot here at 7-2 atop the AFC West. I think they're a very good team. I just want to see them reach a little more consistency with their passing game. I was looking at the numbers today. Bo Nix is 31st out of 33 quarterbacks in drop back success rate. So what does that tell us? That tells us they're winning with the high leverage stuff, creating explosive plays, not turning it over. But down to down, the passing game still has a lot of room for improvement. And there's still a lot of football left. It could improve quite a bit between now and the playoffs. So that's what I'm watching for with the Broncos. I want to see that in the next couple months here to see if they are a legit Super Bowl contender. So keep an eye on the passing game consistency against the Raiders. And then the Raiders, listen, it has been a tough go. You can't sugarcoat it. But I will say this, Brock Bowers came back healthy last week. And it was truly one of the best individual performances by a player we've seen all season. I mean, 12 catches on 13 targets for 127 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Jaguars had no answers for him. And there hasn't been a lot to cheer about with the Raiders, but they might have the best tight end in the NFL now, especially with Tucker Kraft going down with that injury. So Bowers is so fun to watch. I mean, there aren't many tight ends that can actually just carry a passing game like that. And that's what he did last week. So hopefully Bowers gets a chance to be showcased to a national audience in this game, because I know many of you might not be tuning in to watch the Raiders otherwise on a week-to-week basis on Sunday afternoons. All right, the Hurry Up was presented by State Farm. You wouldn't settle for just anything for your team on the football field. Shouldn't it be the same for your insurance? Don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Appreciate everyone listening. Thank you to Ben Solak. Thanks to Christopher Sutton for producing, Kiera Givens on social, and additional production supervision by Conor Nevins and Arjuna Ramgopowell. We'll be back tomorrow on the Ringer NFL Show. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.